Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Faith Jesse. Well, first at noon, time is up. The deadline for the defendants to surrender in the Georgia election interference case has passed. And we just learned that the final co-defendant, Stephen Lee, has turned himself in. He turned himself in about an hour ago. And over the past several hours, 6 other defendants also turned themselves in before that noon deadline. All 19 now have gone through the booking process, including former President Donald Trump. Take a look here. You are looking at Mr. Trump, and soon you will see the most famous mugshot that was probably ever released. It was released late last night. It's an image never before seen in American history, and we'll have a breakdown of what's next for him in just a few moments. We'll also have that mugshot for you in just a few moments. But we want to get to 11 Alive's Ariana Manise. She has been tracking the latest as the last few defendants have turned themselves in. Ariana, you are live at the Fulton County Jail, and I know it's a lot quieter than it was there yesterday.
Yeah, that's right, Faith. Fani Willis, she gave all 19 defendants a deadline of noon today to turn themselves in here at the Fulton County Jail. So far, they've all been booked. Not all have been released. Now, take a look at your screen. These are all the 19 defendants who were involved in the 2020 election interference case. They've been booked here at the Fulton County Jail. And overnight, that we learned that 5 defendants, they were booked and released. Take a look. This is Misty Hampton, the former Coffee County election official. Hampton was in the elections office in January when a group copied software and data from county elections equipment overnight. Also, Jeffrey Clark, he was booked and released. He's a former DOJ official who drafted a letter pushing Georgia officials to convene a special legislative session on the election results. Also, Michael Roman, he was booked overnight. Robert Cheeley, he's an Alpharetta attorney, and State Senator Sean Steele still represents parts of northern Fulton County, and he's accused of being part of the alternate elector scheme following the 2020 election. Now, all have been booked and released except for Harrison Floyd. Now, we're standing by awaiting to hear when he will get his first appearance before a judge, because he surrendered without arranging a bond with the DA's office. Now, we'll continue to work to learn when he'll make his first court appearance and learn when he'll be booked and released from Fulton County Jail. Back to you.
Ariana, thank you so much. The only one of the defendants still in jail at this point, to our understanding. Well, it is one of the most, if not the most famous photo in the world right now. Less than 24 hours ago, Donald Trump became the first former president to ever have his mugshot taken. And take a look at it. This is the historic booking photo of the former president taken when he surrendered late last night, or not late, around, say, 7:30 last night at the Fulton County Jail. 11 Live's Jerry Carnes is taking a closer look at the former president's booking and what comes next.
History made in Atlanta. For the first time ever, we are seeing a mugshot of a U.S. president. The picture emanating from the Fulton County Jail, where former President Donald Trump made a primetime appearance. Afterward, Mr. Trump continued to insist that he is the victim of a stolen election.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it.
The former president's brief but much anticipated trip to Atlanta began at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. His motorcade traveled through downtown during rush hour. He arrived at the Fulton County Jail, where he was booked on 13 criminal charges, accusing him of conspiring to overturn the 2020 election. Outside of the jail, demonstrators gathered, some protesting, some celebrating. Occasionally, the two sides clashed.
Go away! We are living in history. We get to witness it. I want to see it with my own eyes.
The former president's stay at the jail was much shorter than the typical process, but did include fingerprinting and the mugshot. He paid his $200,000 bond with the help of Foster Bail Bonds, a company that was contacted by Donald Trump's attorneys earlier in the week.
We're here to help people get out of jail when they're in a tough situation like that. But yes, I mean, it helps that he was the former president.
The former president and current candidate for president exited Atlanta with a parting shot.
They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before.
After making history here, Donald Trump then boarded a plane to return to his home in New Jersey. He is due to return to Atlanta for an arraignment hearing early next month.
All right, and the arraignments for all of the defendants could actually take place the week of September 5th. That is the date that the DA Fani Willis has suggested, and you can count on it being another historic time here in Atlanta. And as of this afternoon, there are a number of things that have to happen before each of the defendants head to trial. So let's talk about the next steps here that could take place. You could see them at the Fulton County Courthouse. That arraignment that we just talked about could take place after Labor Day, and that's where the defendants will face a judge and enter a plea in the case. The DA's office and at least one of the defendants are already barreling toward a trial. We have more on that timeline that's coming up in the next 10 minutes.